Well, thank you all for coming out. I apologize for making you come through the monsoon to get here. Bad enough to missing lunch. I want to first just, Pam's here with me, and just want to recognize her. 46 years she's put up with me, and it means a lot. The people in this building, people in the back, coaches, the administrators, they've provided for me an unbelievable 5-year, will be 6-year memory. The student athletes. They're at the center of why I've done this for nearly 35 years. And I've enjoyed every day. And still enjoy every day. My work ethic hasn't changed much. My energy level hasn't changed much. And it won't as I go through this final lap of being the director of athletics. It's been a joy. It's been a joy to be around the people that I've had the opportunity and the good fortune to make life what it is, make it great. I've been around some really good people and some really good leaders, and you've heard me say this many, many times. This fan base is phenomenal. Our base of donors who have made so many of our dreams and priorities come to life, whether it was facilities or scholarship, donations, or helping us get on stable ground financially in our department. There is phenomenal support for what is happening here at the University of Tennessee. And I'll always cherish that. Very, very special. I've enjoyed getting to know many of you all. I know you very well now. Several people who cover us on a daily basis. And I respect the job that you do, and it's hard work, and you're to be applauded for making Tennessee athletics very, very special and very prominent as it relates to the national landscape. We're greatly respected, and you have a lot to do with that because you put our word out there for us, and it's not to go unnoticed. It doesn't go unnoticed. And personally, I want to express my appreciation. You know, I've said this a lot too. Sometimes you just know when it's time. And I wanted to set this direction. It was extraordinarily important to me to tell our staff first, before they began to get this word secondhand and thirdhand. And we were able to do that this morning. We had a terrific staff meeting. And I'm appreciative that it happened that way. Not easy in 2016 with social media and the way you guys sneak around the news and everything. But it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me that it unfolded the way I wanted it to in that regard. And I'm appreciative of that. It's really been an incredible journey. Not just here in Tennessee, but as I said, I've been doing this for 35 years. But this has been an incredible journey. It's been extraordinarily gratifying to see where we are today because of all of the people. Everybody in that football team room today has helped make a difference, from the custodians, to the clerical, the coaches, the administrators. It takes everybody to get where we find ourselves. And that's really gratifying and something I'll never forget. You know, we've been through some tough times. We've been through some painful times. The passing of Pat Summit, extraordinarily emotional, painful times. But we've had some really good times. And we've done it together, all of us. And the student athletes, I wish there was a way that I could have also had the opportunity to tell our total student athlete population what was happening. That is impossible, of course. The chancellor, the provost would be very upset if I told them all sick class today so that I could give them this message. But I wish that would have been feasible. For me, I've always been a student-athlete-centered administrator. And our coaches know that. And our coaches know I love them. But if I had to choose, I'd take the kids. That's why I've been in it. So that's, it's exciting to think what's getting ready to happen. And as I said in the press release, my focus and excitement is centered around this academic and athletic year, which has just begun. 2 weeks from tonight, this will make it very notice. 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be playing football. 2 weeks. There's so much excitement. And again, as I said in the press release, it's tangible. Not only in this building, I'm fortunate enough to see it every day, but among our fan base, our alumni all over the country, the excitement level makes you feel very, very good inside. And that's what I'm pointing to. I'm not pointing to what's next. I'm going to live in the moment. I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to enjoy another year of Rick Barnes. All these coaches in the back. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I mean that very, very sincerely. I'd be happy to answer questions that you might have. And Dr. Chief is here, Chancellor's here, and I appreciate very much the Chancellor being here.
Patrick, and then Steve.
Dave, I know you obviously want to keep your focus on this final year, but what do you think your legacy will be as Tennessee's athletic director? What do you hope that it is?
Well, I hope it's that the people in this building, people who are in that room today, will feel that they were treated with respect. Simplicity.
You said sometimes you just know it's time. What made you realize it was time, and was this ultimately your call, or did somebody kind of encourage you to?
I've always wanted to be a member of the media, Steve. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I think as Pam and I talked this through, we've been blessed. It became pretty apparent because of where our program is, because the university is in transitional leadership, that there'll be another chancellor at some point before the academic year comes to conclusion. And it'll give that person, give he or she the ability to decide for themselves who they would like in my current leadership. That had a lot to do with it, Steve. I think because of the hard work of all these coaches and staff and student athletes, I feel really good about where we are. I feel very good about it. And a lot of times, you don't get to choose your exit point. And it just all made sense that, as I said, that it would be a good time to set a direction and let everybody know what that date's going to be. My focus won't change one iota. My focus will be on us continuing to get better, on us addressing priorities. We're about a year deep into the very beginnings of a study of a major renovation to iconic Neyland Stadium. That will also be a continued focus as we progress through this academic and athletic year. And then having success. We have a lot of facility renovations that have come to fruition. We still have work to do. So we're not going to slow down any. We're not going to back up any. We're full speed ahead. It's the only way I've ever known how to do business. Is from an all-out effort. And from a competitive standpoint, I'm excited about what this year could hold for us across the board.
John Bryce and Jess.
Dave, it was earlier this year that I think you told me you would still like to be Tennessee's athletics director for another 4 or 5 years, and you just referenced how competitive you are. You're retiring, I think, with 14 months left on your contract. Why now, and did you feel the support that you could continue forward?
I did. The Chancellor has been a tremendous relative to his support, you know, and that's been very consistent over the 5 years that I've been here. We've worked very, very well together. And yes, I had in my head at one time that I'd like to work maybe through 2020. As I was doing interviews recently, and I won't name this person because he's a great person, like many of you, all of them know. But we were doing the interview, and he said, "Dave, now let's see, you're 73, right?" So I said, "Could you repeat the question?" And I said, "No, I'm 67. I'm 68 in late March." But we laughed about that because I've never felt my age. And I said that when I took this job. I know what my driver's license says. I'm well aware of the birth date. Just like Pam, I'm aware of our anniversary, 46 years. That's correct. But it was just the right time.
Well, following that up and giving the microphone to Wes, I don't know that I see President DiPietro here. Did you feel the support that you need in this position to continue forward from President DiPietro?
Yes, I felt the support was there, John. And again, I don't get the opportunity to meet with Joe, obviously, as frequently as I have with the Chancellor during my tenure here. But he's been supportive. Everybody's been supportive of what we're doing, and everybody's applauded what we've done collectively.
David, I'm sure when you got here, there was a pretty large plan in place. There were a lot of things, candidly, that needed to be repaired here. At that time, if you could go back to that time and you could have made a 5 or 6 year checklist, how much of that have you checked off so far that would have been realistic?
Wes, that's a really good question because we built a strategic plan of priorities, and I presented that to the Chancellor. We knew, number one, that we had to get football healthy, which Joe has done that. We have a healthy, vibrant football program in the best conference in the country. And sometimes I don't think people realize how difficult it was to be where we are today. Butch and I had many, many conversations in his first year here, second year here, looking at roster, looking at how do we build this thing. He's done a phenomenal job. So that was the number one priority. Why? I know some people maybe a little offended when I said that as often as I did, but it lifts all of our sports. A healthy football program, not only financially and from a visibility perspective. The reason we're able to put these facility enhancements in place is largely driven by the success under Butch's leadership of the football program and the hard work of the people in the Tennessee Fund. Now, we're a comprehensive program. We want all of our sports to compete at a high level. Some have been doing that a long time. Women's basketball, Holly doesn't get enough credit. She replaced the best coach to ever coach the game. All she's done is go to 3 Elite Eights. And still, there are the critics, and that's okay. That's the way we live it. The weeklies, unbelievable level of consistent success at the top of the pyramid. I could go on and on. What Beth Sullivan's done in 2 years is incredible. It's absolutely remarkable, turning our track and field program around that fast. So I don't want to keep going and leave somebody out. I said when they made the announcement on Dave, I believe in that guy. I believe in Dave Strong. And I still think Dave Strong will turn our baseball. And I believe in Brian Pinsky. I can go right back through every coach that's here. But to your question, when I look at those priorities, Wes, I look at them with a lot of pride. And it took everybody. But yes, the things we wanted to get done and set in motion 5 years ago, a very high percentage of those are in place, which goes back to Steve's earlier question. That also played in for me for this to be the right time.
Dave, some might ask if the Title IX issue took its toll and maybe prompted this decision. How would you answer that?
Well, it didn't prompt the decision, certainly, Rick. But I mean, it was a difficult time for everybody, as we said, going through that. But we're stronger for it. I think no one does as much training and education, and we were doing that. And to the Chancellor's credit, that was going on well before we faced that particular issue. But it's been incredibly enhanced and accelerated. And our coaches understand it's a priority. Our student athletes understand it's a priority. And I think they appreciate the focus and the effort in training and in education that continues to go on, and that will continue. That will remain a priority.
We'll finish with Paul, Rob, Danny, and Grant Raymond.
Dave, how much of an agent of change did you feel like you had to be to kind of move the program as a whole in a new direction, whether it was merging the athletic departments or stop sending the money to the academic side? How much did you feel like you kind of had to be an agent of change, rock the boat a little bit to move forward in the right direction?
Well, we had a lot of change, Paul, that was necessary, but that's what leaders do. Leaders assess the situation and they make tough decisions. And I've said this before, I've never been offended with somebody disagreeing with any decision. And I'm human like everyone else. You always look back and assess and say, hey, could we have done something differently? Could we have done something better? But we had a steep hill to climb. And we climbed it enthusiastically. And we climbed it together. And that's why a lot of where we find ourselves today, a lot of the remedies are in place because people pulled in the same direction. Leaders don't disseminate the bullets, they take the bullets. Leaders don't disappear, they go out front. And when you do that, there'll be some negative feedback, and that's okay. And anybody who's offended by that shouldn't be in this business, because you better have some tough skin. We're the university's most visible ambassador, the Department of Athletics. We preach this to our student athletes constantly to help them make good decisions, make better decisions. Again, they're 17 to 22 years old, but we have an obligation to keep preaching that.
Rob, Danny, and Grant.
Dave, you knew when you arrived here that the merger of the athletic departments was going to be a challenge. In hindsight, as you reflect, was the fallout from that whole process messier that you anticipated?
Well, first of all, and this has been misunderstood for many years, the merger of the men's and women's athletics programs was announced, 8 years before I came. My charge was to complete the merger. And we knew that would be difficult, but there was a consistent level of collaboration on our campus with our student athletes. We met with all of our coaches, talked about it in regularly scheduled head coaches meetings as well. So a lot of discussion took place before we made that decision, and we moved on from that decision. And again, I think we're in a good place in our building.
Dave, you spoke about the importance of Butch Jones and what he's meant to this athletics department as a whole. If you get a chance to sit down with your successor, whether it's before or after he's hired or she's hired, what will you say to that person about him as a person, not so much as a coach on practice fields or game day, but him as a guy?
Well, I've enjoyed Butch as a person. And we have a lot of conversations on anything to do with football. A lot. But ever since that night when we literally stayed up all night to talk about this job in Lexington, Kentucky, it was apparent that Butch Jones was a great person. Great family, overachieved with farm, still scratching my head at that one. But he's a good person. And I think you start there. These coaches in this room, they're good people first. They're good role models first. And then they go about the task of coaching their respective teams. But we have a lot of great leaders here, and Butch Jones is a terrific leader. And he's in a tough position because he's the head football coach, and he's handled that very well.
Dave, you mentioned in the press release earlier that you're not retiring in the purest sense of the word. You're just retiring from being an AD. Do you have certain scenarios in mind, certain avenues you want to explore once you get past that
I
date?
don't at this time, but again, my focus is where I said it is, and that is on us, on Rocky Top, on the University of Tennessee, and our athletes and coaches and fan base and donors. But that time will come when I will decide what is next. I can't forecast the future, no human being can. But that moment, it will come. But I want to enjoy this ride because we've worked so hard to be where we are. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy watching this year unfold.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks.
Some of the coaches will be back.